So they just spoiled a mythic angel, and honestly, it seems really, really busted. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. I am glad you are here with me today for some more discussion about magical cardboard rectangles. I do love getting to discuss Magic the Gathering with you guys, talking about it in all of its different facets. And in that regard, I do want to mention, I have recently put out a Zendikar Rising lore video over on my other channel where I do Magic lore, and there's a bunch of other awesome lore as well. If you want a taste of it, all you have to do is watch the Karn video just on the first day of Karn's life, and I guarantee you will be hooked on the magic lore that I am creating, because these storks are amazing. They'll deliver babies to you. No, these stories are amazing. Now, you may have been trying to completely ignore me and stare at the angel that's on the screen. I know some of you can't read the cards while I'm over here blib-blabbing away, so you just go, oh, fine, I'll just wait until you stop running your mouth and actually tell me the card. Well, we've reached that moment. I'm going to tell you the card now. It's Angel of Destiny. So 2 white and 3 for a 2/6 flyer. But here's the thing. It's got double strike as well. So really, when you read this, you should be reading it as a 4/6. And that's with no modifications. So this is 5 mana, essentially for the equivalent of a 4/6 in most cases, Angel. All right, and admittedly, the next line I'm about to read to you, I want you to understand that when I read it, I thought it just said the angel itself. So you might be in the same boat as me. You might have read it and be like, that's all right. But then when you reread the line and it says, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. So if you experienced this card the same way I did, you read it and went, okay, you know what? 4/6 flying. It does an 8-point life swing, and then your brain goes, wait, no, actually, hold on. It says you and the other player gain that much life. So it's like, okay. So wait, they're not going down in life at all? What is the point of what's the point of that? Like, why would I be willing to let my opponent gain life back for all the combat damage that I'm dealing, right? If you swing for 4, your opponent gains 4, and you gain 4. So it basically renders all your combat moot in a way. Now, obviously, there's a reason for this, right? And that's because there's a win con stapled onto this creature, and we actually discussed this win con in the previous teaser video, and I actually predicted that this could be the case. I legit said it could be a card where you could gain a bunch of life and then swing with it and win kind of scenario. Now, it does work a little bit differently than that, because the ability says at the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 life more than your starting life total, each player Angel of Destiny attacked this turn loses the game. So it's not a you win the game. In a 2-player game, it may as well say you win the game. But in a commander-like environment, this would be too strong. You getting to win the game by just doing this to one opponent doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So when you read the ability and go, oh, wait a minute, I only have to get to 35 in a normal game of Magic. If you're playing Commander, you have to get up to 55, which I imagine, Commander's 40 life, right? They didn't change it to 30, did they? I can't recall. I don't play EDH, so don't take it personally if I don't play your pet format. It's okay. We can all enjoy what we enjoy. Actually, you know what? I don't even know why I'm saying that. Commander players tend to be like the chillest players, it seems like, in terms of like getting really heated about stuff. I find the more competitive Magic players are the ones who are more likely to blow a gasket if you get something wrong about a card, because it matters so much to them, and Commander players are a little more casual. So never mind. I didn't even need to make that statement, but hey, it makes the video longer, and getting to listen to me make noise for longer, honestly, let's be real. It's a treat, isn't it? I mean, that's a good deal for you. And I guess me, because I have to go back and listen to myself while I put the cards in. Everybody wins. So, on the surface of it, when I first read this card, I looked at it and was like, okay, like, all right, you know, you can swing with this, you can gain 4 life a turn, And in like 3 or 4 turns, you'll have enough life that you can just win the game. And if you've built up and gained life and managed to protect your life total in the meantime, you can win even faster. And then I went back and read it and was like, whenever any of your creatures damage a player, that's like how you build up your life total. That's absolutely insane. This feels like it's going to be so easy to pull off. Like, to give you an idea of how much easier it is to win with this as a gain life like condition, I want to look at some of the older cards from Magic's history that also care about you having life totals to give you the win. Now, one of them is actually also from the world of Zendikar, but the first one we're going to look at is actually Test of Endurance. Now, this card is weird for a whole bunch of reasons. One is it was the first time really in Magic's history where they just had a card that says, if you can get to this life total, you win. Now, you'll notice the life total you need to get to is really high. 50 life is a lot of life. That's a big ask in a 2-player game of Magic. Let's be real. You know what I mean? Like, Test of Endurance is literally like, just put me out. I do nothing to advance the goal. Literally, like, Test of Endurance does nothing to advance the goal. It just sets the goal line that says if you can get to 50, you win. But the thing about life gain in Magic, and this is something beginners don't get, but experienced players fully understand, life is super hard to get and super easy to lose. Life in Magic is like money in real life. It's really hard to get money, but spending it, losing money, that's super easy. It's happening all the time, whether you want it to or not, right? So it's the same kind of concept with life gain. Like, how are you going to get to 50 life? If you can keep your life total that high, there's tons of other ways you can win. Like, Test of Endurance is not a terribly effective win con. However, it is a really cool win con, but it's also a really, really weird card. First of all, can we acknowledge that Test of Endurance doesn't feel like a spell? It in no way feels magical, right? It's literally just 2 dudes with bone clubs that are like facing off in sort of like gladiatorial combat, right? That's literally all that's going on in this artwork. Now, you could try and say, well, Test of Endurance, the magic is like forcing you and your opponent into a ring where you both have bone clubs and have to fight each other. But the artwork's confused me on this for multiple reasons. One is it doesn't look like a magic spell. It's just like 2 guys forced, like, we're gonna beat each other with clubs. Secondly, why are these guys both holding the clubs in the middle? I can't be the only one who thinks that if you just grab it by the back, you can just get way better swings in. You know what I mean? In the middle, you can do maybe poking jabs or whatever, but these are blunt objects, right? Look at those clubs. They don't have any sharpness to them. So why wouldn't it be better to have your hand further back so you could get a longer reach? And I mean, if you're the one to figure this out before the other one, instead of holding it in the middle, you're going to have a big advantage. Is it the magic that, like, what is going on? I mean, dude, what is up with this artwork? It's just two old guys in diapers trying to bone each other. You know, like that. And after I say that phrase, I realize that could that could mean a whole bunch of other things that I don't intend. But regardless, when you look at the card, you go, not a great card. 50 life is a high life total to reach, right? So they reevaluated the concept and came back with Felidar Sovereign. All right. Now, Felidar Sovereign, and I want you to note this as well. When Felidar Sovereign originally hit the scene, having a hard time with the words, man. Think about those old diaper boys. You know, it's sitting on my brain. Okay, so Felidar Sovereign was originally mythic. This level of power was considered to be mythic rare. So it revisits the concept of you need life to win the game, right? But it actually is also a vehicle to get you to that victory. So in one way, it's stronger because it's a beast with lifelink that can increase your life total. So it's double win cons. It can win through the life gain. You can also win through combat. It is a little bit weird that, like, basically you need 40 life to win with this card. And you would, like, let's say it just attacked uncontested into your opponent. Then after the 5 hits with the life like with the lifelink, your opponent's at 0. So it doesn't matter that you're 40 to win that way. You've already won because your opponent's at 0. But either way, they found that the Felidar Sovereign wasn't strong enough to be a mythic, right? It's been downgraded because when it comes to Test of Endurance, you need 50 life. But it's an enchantment, which is much harder to get rid of. Certain colors just can't handle enchantments, red and black namely, although it looks like we are on the verge of a color pie shift, where black is actually going to gain the ability, at least in limited ways, to get rid of enchantments. We had already seen it with the card from Theros that's basically sack a creature or sack an enchantment, right? That wasn't normally inside of black's color pie. But now we're getting, with the upcoming set, we're actually going to get targeted enchantment removal. But regardless, it's still difficult to deal. It's more difficult to deal with an enchantment than it is to deal with a creature. So in some ways, the Felidar Sovereign was actually weaker than Test of Endurance, right? Now, this angel throws that all out the window. There is somewhat of a power balancing in terms of the fact that if you notice, the wording of the angel does say that at the end of the turn, you win the game. So if the angel is destroyed by being blocked, combat damage, or in any other way destroyed before the end of the turn, it won't be able to trigger its win con trigger. And unlike the Felidar Sovereign, and unlike the Test of Endurance, it does require you actually being able to swing with the angel itself. Because if the angel didn't attack, it doesn't matter what your life total is. So that does bring the power level down a tad, but honestly, this card feels incredibly strong. It feels like, I feel like this card is going to make a huge impact on Standard. I feel like this is a card that may actually require being banned. Just on the surface of it, looking at it, it feels so powerful. And funnily enough, it might actually be the card that makes 9 lives. Remember that weird 9 lives card that's like, you can take damage up to 9 times, but on the 9th time, you lose the enchantment. And when the enchantment goes, you lose the game. Well, having that enchantment now to buy yourself like a turn or two of them, not your opponent not being able to hit you back while you gain the life required to win, I could actually see that being a half decent strategy. Now, admittedly, like if you can't protect yourself and stop that enchantment from going, you will automatically lose. But it's not like they can just destroy the enchantment with targeted removal, right? They have to have some other way to get rid of it. So there's a pretty narrow window to get rid of 9 lives if you don't have a way to just keep hammering damage into your opponent. If you have a lot of cheap sources of damage, like a little like red cavalcade deck, you'll be able to overwhelm the 9 lives deck, no problem. But otherwise, I feel like 9 lives could actually theoretically be a gross combination with this Mythic Angel. Like, this card screams insanity to me. When I look at it, I go, what? It's every creature. Every single creature you have that would hit your opponent instead beefs up your life total and their life total. Now, obviously, there is the downside that they could let you swing with all your creatures. They could like just go, oh, look, I took no damage. And then after combat, just go bloop, smoke the angel with like a creature destruction spell or whatever. And then you're just sitting there going, oh. Or I mean, I guess theoretically they would probably want to destroy it before combat, because what's the advantage of letting it hit, really? Like, you as the control of the angel are going to gain a bunch of life, right? Now, bear in mind, admittedly, I am not a master of the meta. I am not somebody who keeps his like thumb on the pulse of what's dominating Standard. So I could be completely wrong about this angel. It might turn out that it is a footnote that nobody really plays, just an also ran, you know what I mean, style scenario. So I don't know, but it genuinely feels like when I look at this card, it feels busted. It feels insane. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like what I'm doing here, like, comment, subscribe. Big thank you to all the people who've been buying my shirts lately. Appreciate you supporting my merch. Lots of happy people, it seems like, with that. And it blows my mind that I have like a saying and my own logo on a shirt that people buy. This whole experience of being a YouTuber is amazing. I love it, man. I love making videos. Speaking of making videos, make sure you check out my lore videos on my other channel. Like I said, if you haven't watched any Magic lore, just watch Karn's First Day, and I guarantee you, you will be hooked. It's so epic, it's undeniable. So thanks for coming by, my friends. I will see you all very soon.